Now it's good morning over my side here. So sorry about the delay. Okay, now is the perfect time to say about brain gym because I rush in. So my mind is in a state of chaotic. So my topic is mind, my mind. So what I'm doing now, if I can show you further away, can you actually see? Okay. So if I am in a rush and my mind is upside down now, I cross my leg and I cross my arm. Okay? And at the same time, I put my tongue at the palate of my mouth. So in that way, I keep myself calm. So now I'm sitting down, but I cross my legs. Woo! All right, because it's pretty early over my side here. Now, okay. Now, this sign comes in this template. All right? This is the perfect tool that I can have in my center. I started off as an English teacher, specialized in teaching English to children who are not able to speak English. It means as a second language, because the first language over here is Bahasa. So to teach English to children who are not able to understand English, I was posted in a school in a rural area, very far away from the capital of Malaysia. So the people over there, I think I'm the only Chinese in the whole village. So they have not seen someone this fair and also wearing like this. It means expose my arm. So at that school, I have to cover myself this way. Okay, I got to cover myself, my arms, and also my legs. So I was in that school for 5 years and I learned a lot from the children there. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so when I bumped into brain gym, that was because my daughter has learning challenges. My daughter was not able to hold the food down. So if she takes a big bottle of milk, in a very short time, she will vomit everything out since I stopped breastfeeding. So I was scratching my head. Is this normal for a baby to eat a lot and also to vomit out whatever they have eaten? And this daughter also, as a baby, she can sleep for a very long time and she will not feel hungry. So me being a teacher, a very logical minded teacher, I was really scratching my head. Something is not right with my daughter. So I found brain gym, and today my daughter is 21 years old. So I can briefly say that this method of movement really helped her to balance her brain and put her brain together to use. Of course, at now 21 years old, she still has challenges with social interaction. In time of stress, her brain still goes back to her nature, the dominant. So to overcome her moment of stress, she applied the method that I have taught her. And this infinity sign is one of the easiest and best method that she still practices until today. So I started off with my slide, the lazy 8. That is the sleeping infinity. So if everyone is looking at my slide now, you are actually balancing and integrating your brain. Isn't that wonderful? You don't even need to lift your hand, but your eyes are looking at my slide and you are already balancing and integrating your brain. I will show you the next slide. Yes. This tagline, movement is the way of life. So let's move. When I come to this, I want to say, my society, especially in Malaysia, the children will play with their tab or the phone since they are young, very young. I think they don't even know how to hold the milk bottle. They know how to hold the handphone. And that is really, really very sad because children will start not to move the arms and legs, but they start to move just their palm. Okay, so that's why we have more and more children. This is one of the reasons, but we have more and more children who have challenges with listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, I will share with you on that in the next slide. Okay, that's me before the pandemic hit us in Malaysia. I was able to conduct physical class like this. If you can see in the photo on my right, there are some senior elderly, we call that men and ladies, okay? And I will also highlight to you later where there is someone not so elderly, but in this group. Okay, so who are the people in this group? I was conducting the movement program for the Alzheimer Association of Malaysia. And I think since 8 to 10 years ago, since I know of this association, I have been helping, contributing my knowledge, my time with the patient in this center. But 2 years ago, I met someone in the center that really shook my mind. Why would I say that? Okay. Now, before we go to that, you see on the table, there are about 5 bottles of water. Okay. Now, the patient at this center is a daycare center. All right. It means the children of those ladies and uncles or men, the children will send the parents, either the father or mother with Alzheimer issue, to the center during the daytime. It means on their way to work, they drop their father off. After work, they will go back to the center and pick up their father. So it's a daycare center for the Alzheimer patients. And they will not remember if they have taken their meals. So if you serve them food, they will eat. But if you ask them to drink water, they will not drink. So that day, during the class, I told them we must finish the water before we finish the class. Okay? And you can see there is a lady at the forefront of the photo. She's in her wheelchair. So she's not able to move on her own. It means she's not able to walk. But the others, they are able to walk and move, but they still refuse to drink water. So I have to think very creatively how to get them to drink water the brain gym way. Okay. This is what I want to show you. You see, I I have my hand on the chest of this young lady, and she is really a young lady. I met her at the Association of Alzheimer 2 years ago, and I thought she was the caregiver. So when I found out that she is actually the patient, I actually cried because she is only 35 years old. Compared to the man next to her, he is already in his 70s. So I was really shocked when I found out that she was the patient and not the caregiver. Her daughter was 17 2 years ago. She can't even remember her own name. And she told me her name was Hannah. So I call her Hannah throughout the whole training. And later, her husband walked in. And I still refer her to Hannah, do this, Hannah, let's do this. And later, the husband came to me and said, Hannah is her daughter's name and not her name. I was like, gosh, she cannot remember her own name, but she can remember her daughter's name. And she cannot remember that the man next to her was helping her with the exercise, the movement, is her husband. So she was working in the bank before they found out her condition. There's one incident. She went to work and she didn't come home. She was driving around the town area, but she couldn't find her way home. The phone, her mobile phone rang, and luckily she answered her phone. So this was what her husband told me. They waited till the sun sets and she didn't come home, so they called her. She answered the call finally, and her husband, of course, said, darling, where are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then she didn't know how to answer. And the husband find it very, very funny that she didn't say a word. So he knew that something is wrong. She's not being kidnapped because she's still able to answer her phone. So her husband told her, stop your car and stay put. So they took more than 10 hours to locate her. She has driven to another state. She's no longer in the town area, but she has drove a few hundred miles away from her workplace. So they took more than 10 hours to find her. They found her, they brought her to the hospital, and she was under observation. So at the age of 35, she is certified to be seriously and severely losing her memory. So she has moved from her town area to the capital of Malaysia, because only in the capital of Malaysia, that is Kuala Lumpur, we have this Alzheimer Association. So the husband relocated together with their daughter and her, so they moved to Kuala Lumpur and stay near to the association. So I have been doing the therapy with her since then. She now remember her name. On and off, she remember her husband, that is her husband, but she definitely can remember her daughter. She cannot remember who I am, so sometimes she call me auntie, that it means sister. So sometimes I get demotivated but I shoulder on because I look at her and I think of the society. If someone as young as 35 can have Alzheimer's, will the age go younger? That's why at my learning center, I am going all out to educate the parents because children hook on the gadgets, it is not the children's fault. I would say, I would blame it is the parents' fault because the parents use the gadget as a way to babysit their children, and that is extremely sad. So for me, I will tell them, if you don't have the time to bring up a child, please do not have a child because you are adding to the problem of the society because more and more children are looking for methods to balance their brain. So, sisters and brothers, drinking water is extremely important, okay? And we have our method to drink water. That's why it's so difficult to get the patient to drink water. So in brain gym, we call that sipping water. So what you need to do is this. You need to keep the water in your mouth for at least 3 seconds. And I did the gargle motion is because the shortcut to the brain is under the tongue. So can you imagine the Alzheimer patient? I need them to have the water in their mouth for a few seconds before they swallow. So we have to be very creative. We play games so that they will keep the water in their mouth for more than 3 seconds. Okay, so if they drink the water, one sip, and keep it in their mouth for 3 seconds, the oxygen in the water will have a shortcut to the brain. And the shortcut is under the tongue. That is also the reason why if they need to take medication, we put the medication in their mouth under the tongue. Okay. In many instances, the caregiver wants to make their work easy. So they give them straw. So when they drink with the straw, if you drink and the water will go straight to the back of their mouth. So it doesn't work. I just need to do, today I'm only sharing 5 movements. But it took me more than 6 months to get them to drink water the way I want it. Okay? Due to a lot of reasons, I cannot show you the photo. But there is once I told them we are all cats. So how do the cats drink their milk? So we put a plate and I make them all lick. I can tell you, some of them were so frustrated because when they can stick out their tongue, they cannot lower their head. So when they lower their head, they put the tongue back inside. Wow, I tell you, I was like, So we have music, we have action, we have songs, just to get them to stick out their tongue and lick. Of course, most of them ask me for other liquid beside water. But I'm not sharing with them the philosophy of water, but I can tell you, I told them if they lick this plate of water, then I'm going to give them other juice because they will ask for coffee, they will ask for tea. And in Brain Gym, we strongly believe if you drink 1 cup of coffee, you have to drink extra 250 ml of water. So if you drink coffee and tea, then you got to drink more water to dilute it. So why drink coffee and tea? But of course, for those who love coffee, you can continue drinking, but just drink more water. So the first step to doing our exercise, our brain gym, is to sip water. So please remember, it's sipping water. It means take small sip and maintain the water in your mouth for more than 3 seconds. Okay, you see in this photo, the man, he is able to put his hand at his chest. Okay, he is one of my oldest students. Okay, he can walk, he can talk, but of course he cannot remember who I am. But when I say put the hand on the chest, he is able to do it. But in this photo, you cannot see that he is not able to put the other hand at his abdomen. I'm going to stand up, okay? So it's one hand on the chest, the other hand.
Excuse me, Daphne.
Yes.
Excuse me, Daphne. We want to see you. Can we off the screen sharing so then we can see your video clearer?
Is it? Okay, so I should stop it?
Yes, because you're going to show the movement, right?
Yes.
You're going to share, yes.
Can you see me better like this?
Yes, okay. Very well, thank you.
I will come nearer when I will show you which point. Now, we have the exact spots to hold. But if you are doing it for the Alzheimer patient, or if you are doing for someone, okay, you might not get the exact spot. But for me, something is better than nothing. So as long as your hand is on the chest below your collarbone, then you are right. Okay, now I tell you exactly the spot. All right, if you want to know. Okay, now the corner of your eyes, you put a C shape with your hand. Then you put your hand at the corner of your eyes. Yes. Then you bring it down. You will find your collarbone and it's below your collarbone. Okay. I can see some, this. Okay, I saw something because some of you switch on your video. All right. There's something you need to take note. Okay. You either use all 4 fingers and 1 thumb, but you don't use 3 fingers. Okay, right? You see what I mean? I have 4 fingers and 1 thumb, and I massage. So all 4 fingers down on the chest. So I repeat, you make a C shape with your hand, put it at the corner of your eyes, and you bring it down, find your collarbone, and below your collarbone, and you can start to massage. So it's 4 fingers on the chest. Now, what if you have this tiny finger flying off? You got to bring it down. Okay? Then the other hand, you put it, I will just say put it on your abdomen here, your stomach. Then you massage. Yes. Okay. Someone put their hand, I mean, they put it on, okay, it doesn't matter. You can put your hand inside or you can put your hand on your clothes itself, because the point that we are massaging, they are our kidney points. So as long as you massage that 2 points and holding your abdomen at the same time, you got it right. Okay? Now these points are very good if you have, stop, not you. The Alzheimer patient have issues going to the toilet, constipation. Okay? If they have issue with constipation, have a sip of water. So I don't think anyone is fasting. Okay, please have a sip of water before you do massage. if you feel soreness, if you feel pain on either side or both sides, then you have to stop and have another sip of water. This movement is called brain button. It's the favorite movement for all the caregivers because the patient, they nearly all of them have issues going to the toilet. So they sit on their special chair, the toilet seat chair, and the caregivers will help the patient to do the brain buttons. Okay, so there are two ways to do. It means the patient himself can do it himself, or the caregiver hold the patient's hand and then the caregiver do this. Can you see? It means the patient hand is on her own chest, then the caregiver help by doing this. Okay, let's say you already have two hands holding here. You do not have enough hand to help the patient to hold. Well, like I said, something better than nothing. So you help with this. But you can keep on reminding them to put their hand here. So sometimes I give them a teddy bear. Let's say this is a teddy bear. I said, put the teddy bear there, help them, keep it warm. So they will really hold on, but actually they are holding on to the point that I want them to hold, and then we help them with this. This is called the brain buttons. You switch on your brain using these two buttons. You also help them to go to toilet with these two buttons. And I can tell you, when they are not happy, when they are throwing tantrums, you also do these 2 points. It is that wonderful. All right. Now, I can tell you, the patient always throw tantrums because they forgot that they have taken their meal. So they will throw tantrums and they want to eat again. So I told the caregivers, you just have to do this. That will bring their emotion back to the balanced state. So these two buttons is really the best of all the movements. All right. Now, if you do for yourself or for anyone, and they tell you painful on either side, okay, please take note, sip water before you continue. It always works. And then for the parents at my center, if they come in with very angry, I will tell them, please hold the buttons here first. Massage. All right? You can change hands. Then only we talk. Because once they do this, they balance their emotion, then we can communicate better. So you can try this for yourself. So Didi, can I share my next slide?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so you can see the young lady there. I have to help her. The two ladies in the red t-shirt, they are the caregivers by the association. Okay, so the association helpers, they are in red. Okay, so you can see that I'm helping her with that, holding the brain buttons. Okay, from this picture, you can see there is, unfortunately, you see the man over there and the lady next to him, they are actually husband and wife, and they are both patients at the center. So I was like, if they are my parents, if you have one parent with that condition, but now you got double whammy, you have both your parents, also the Alzheimer patient, I think I really salute their children, because it's not easy to handle 2 Alzheimer patients in one family. Okay, but the interesting thing is the father, the man, he is always in the happy mode. Okay, and he has no issue doing the brain buttons. And his wife is always in the angry mode. He can not remember her name. He cannot remember that is his wife. But do you know that their children told me there is one instance the husband told the wife, do this, because the wife was throwing tantrums. So you see the magical of our brain. He cannot remember who she was, but he can remember the movement that I showed them. So he wasn't massaging, but he was really very angry with her because she was screaming and throwing tantrum. So he did this. Well, like I said, something better than nothing. So you can see she is always in that mode, the angry mode, and he is always in the smiling mode. Okay. Okay, from this angle, you can see them better. You can see the uncle just now. He is also not holding on to his tummy, but the rest, they are okay. Okay, so usually in this scenario, we have 5 patients in one training. Only 5 of them, the rest are all the caregivers. And we actually encourage the caregivers from the family itself. Okay, I should go back. So the first step, sipping water. The second step, the brain buttons. Now we go to the third step. Now the third step, I will show you standing. So I off my slide. We call that the cross crawl. You can see me? Okay. The cross crawl means one hand touching the other knee. Okay? So you see this hand and you see this leg. So I just need them to touch. Now, but for you, I'm not giving you the easy one. That is the modified version. So the actual version, because I saw somebody stood up and do together with me. So the actual version is elbow to the knee. Okay? Yes. Very good. She is doing very well. Someone is doing that very well. Good. Okay, yes. Elbow to the knee. So if you want to know the exact one, okay, body straight, don't bend down, don't do this. Because once you bend your body, the fluid will have a harder time travel to the brain. So you have to stand as straight as you can, shoulder width, and then bring up your knee. Yes. Okay. So we do this as slow as we can. Okay. So then you pause. Then you do the other side and you pause. If you can do it as slowly as you can, it means you can make a decision already. This is what I tell them. I see, I think, I respond. I see, I think, I respond. Okay? So if you do I see and you are wobbly, it means you don't see the problem well. Let's say you have a problem, you want to make a decision, okay? So you start off with, I see. Then you go wobbly. Okay, then please have a sip of water. But let's say you do, I see, you are firm. Then when you do this, you feel that your knees are shaking. It means you are not calm enough. Or the children at my center who have ADHD, it means hyperactive, they will do it this way. They will do it very fast. You know why? Because they cannot think. Because they see, I see, I react, I see, I react, I see, I react. In English, to react and to respond, there is a difference. To react is, if you slap me, I slap you back. That is react. That's why the children fight, because they react. So if you have children who are fighting, you don't need to tell them, stand in the corner. I will tell them to do this. Crisscross. I see, I think, I react. But of course, they will do it very fast. So far, okay? I'm not going too fast, huh? I'm a little bit hyperactive. Okay, now I'm going to share with you. Now, the Alzheimer patient, they are not able to do this. You know why? Because they cannot lift up one leg and do one hand at the same time. Okay? So what should you do? Usually, we focus on the hands because hands are easier to help them with. So we modify. They cannot go elbow to the knee. They go the hand to the knee. As long as they cross the invisible line in the middle here. Okay, you need me to draw a line here? Nah, you're all very kind to me, right? So you imagine there's an invisible line right down here. So as long as they cross the invisible line, objective achieved. Okay, so I'm going to sit further away. You help with their hand to the knee and only do one side for 7 days. You only do the hand that they are strong at. It means if they use this hand to take the food, you start off with the hand. So the leg, they are in the sitting position, you help with their strong hand. That is the dominant hand. Help them to touch across. Do you see me? Across. Okay? So the legs are not moving. You help with the hand and you only do one side for 7 days. After 7 days, if you show in front of the patient and he can do this, then you are ready to go to step 2. If after 7 days you show this and they still cannot, you do for another week. You do for another week. Slow and steady. Don't rush. Because if they are not able to just move one hand across to the other side, no point showing them both sides. Because they will do, I see, I react, I see, I react, I see, I react. That is even worse. So I will always go slow and steady. Educate the brain to get the neuron understand one side first. Okay? Okay. Then once you do and the patient can follow, they can imitate your action, then you do the other side. Okay? And I can tell you, when I demo in front of them, I always use the actual one, that is elbow to the knee. All right, then you give the patient the motivation to actually use the elbow to the knee, because elbow to the knee is actually more difficult. But I want them to do the actual one. All right, now you can have many other ways. You can give them, I once give them the badminton racket. So they use the racket and they hit their knee. So they were so happy, because the racket is the extension of their arm. So they thought it's so easy. Then I gave them something shorter. I'm not sure if you know ping pong. You know the ping pong bat? The ping pong bat is much shorter. So I get this shorter one. So now they got to hit the other side of the knee. Now, if they cannot remember, they will do on the same side. Okay. Same side, no. If they do on the same side, they didn't cross the invisible line. So they are only using one side of the brain. And we do not encourage that. So what you can do, you can tie some bell over here or ribbons. Usually we use ribbon, because if bell 5 of them, then we have a lot of sound. So you put ribbons on the wrist, and then you put ribbons or sticker on the knee. Okay, so we will say, touch the sticker, touch the sticker, touch the sticker, touch the sticker. So they go that way. So you help them to identify which leg by putting stickers, by putting ribbons, put anything on their leg. So they see the sticker, so they move the hand across the invisible line. All right, so once they are able to do this, you have to tell them, this is what we always say, apple, apple. So you please add something in the middle so that they pause. Okay, so over here, they like durians. If you have come to the Asia country before, durian is super yummy. So we will do like this, durian, durian, yum, 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 durian, So we go on and on, because we want them to pause. Okay? Right. Once they can manage their hands, then we will manage their legs. But usually if they manage their legs, I will have to actually kneel down and help them with their legs behind the knee. Okay, so we help them by lifting their knee up like this. Okay, so please don't use your hand to do like this. So you help by putting your hand behind the knee and help them to lift up. Okay, now if like my case there is one who is on the wheelchair, so I will not stress so much on the legs, because I will be stressing myself. And I forgot to say this, before you do all this movement for the patient, you have to do it for yourself first. As long as you balance yourself, you will be giving out positive energy to the patient. Because if you are in a rush, you will also pass the energy to the patient that they also will be impatient. Okay, so if that day you are not in a good mood, you do the movement for yourself before you do it for your patient. All right, so I will go back to my slides now.
Excuse me, Daphne.
Yes.
By the way, the time that I have for your class is around 7 minutes more.
Thank you for the reminder, Didi. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This is actually the last movement. That's why thank you for the reminder. Okay. This is again the modified version. The actual version, should I show you the actual version? But maybe we just do the modified one because the actual one will need a bit more explanation. Okay, remember the invisible line? You just need to cross your arms. But just now I cross it this way. So this patient, they are crossing their arms and you can look at their legs. They are not crossing their legs. Okay, so we do it part by part. Okay, you can see they know how to cross their arms. Okay. If you don't have the board, you can actually download the infinity sign from the internet. But if you do that, please download the black and white one, as in the photo. Okay, so that is the young lady, and that is her husband helping her. We play with the flower dough, and they roll it, and they are supposed to make the dough in the pattern of the infinity sign. Okay, so you can see they are doing activities. So you can actually download this from the internet. And please print it on the A3 paper. Do you call A3 over your side? It means it's a bigger piece of paper. Okay, this size. And I laminated the paper so that they can actually play and draw using their hands, any activities by using that. The one point you need to remember is the direction of the infinity sign is from the middle to the top left. Okay, so I'm doing here is probably the opposite version view for you. All right, so the infinity sign. These are all variations of the infinity sign that you can find from the internet. This one is actually copyrighted. So this boy, you can see he has water tumor in his head. So his head is actually bigger than his body. He's one of the child in my center. He is doing the cross crawl sitting down. So you can see how his hand went like this, but he's able to move his leg. Okay, and see the joy in his face when he is able to control his hands and legs. So these are the activities that we did for the patient at the Alzheimer's Association. Okay, skip this. Okay, so for the last movement just now, when we cross our arms, there is a part 1 and part 2. When you cross your arm, can you see me? Can you see? I cross my arm. So I have this hand on top. Then you should have the opposite leg on top. Sorry, you can't see my leg. Anyway, I just explained. If you do your hands like this is my right hand on top. Then you should cross your leg, the opposite leg on top. Okay? This one, left hand on top, left hand on top, and then right leg crossing. So the hands and the legs should be opposite. Okay? Then you keep your tongue touching the palate. This is part 1. So you can cross like this or like this. Part 1. Part 2, you uncross your legs. So you are standing like this or sitting like this. And you uncross your hands by putting your fingers together like this. Fingertips together. And then we always tell them to look inside for their loved ones. So they will focus inside. I will say, you are thinking of your son? Okay, look inside your magic ball. Now you can see your son in the magic ball. He's smiling to you. He's coming to pick you up after work. So they will all focus inside the hand because I want them to be focused. All right. So I do a quick recap of the movement. Step 1, sipping water. Keep the water in your mouth for at least 3 seconds. Small sip of water. Step 2, that is the brain buttons. Bring down to your collarbone and the other hand at your stomach. Okay. Step 3. Remember, I see, I pause, I think, then I respond. I see, I think, I respond. That is step 3. Okay? Step 4. Cross your legs. Your tongue. Uncross your leg. Uncross your hands. Look inside the magic ball. The tongue is still. Last but not least, this we don't do after the sun sets. The reason is this crossing the midline is activating the brain. You don't want them to be so active after dinner. So we usually refrain, stop, don't do this after the sun sets, because that is the time we want them to bring them into the resting mode. So do it any time of the day except after dinner. Okay, that's all my sharing, Didi, Dada, brother and sister.